I thought we'd seen the back of the James Ward-Prowse transfer links linking us to buying him from Southampton, and I was pleased about that. I've got nothing against James Ward-Prowse per se. I quite admire his qualities and the things he's good at, but I was pleased to see us, what it would appear to have been, pull out the race for him. I thought the signing looked like a lack of invention. When we're going to bring in a director of football, I don't want to know the targets. I want there to be some sort of understanding of a game and some players that maybe we wouldn't have heard of, some uncovered gems, if you like, some unpolished diamonds, who we go and pluck from obscurity and they become good players. I think that a lot of that is the value of a director of football. And you look at maybe what Brighton have done, for instance. So they sell Basuma to Tottenham, and they'd bought, I think they bought Casiado from Independiente. They bought him before Basuma left, but it was okay because they'd identified somebody who was an unknown to replace him. I think that's what you want to do, really, as a director of football, and what I think Ward-Prowse symbolises is quite the opposite of that. I think the other thing that it symbolises is that the money being spent would still be spent by David Moyes, because if there's one thing we know, David Moyes covets the player. He was trying to sign him last season when Southampton were a Premier League team for 70-odd million. And I don't think there's anything wrong with David Moyes getting the odd sign in here or there, but I do want to see the transition. I want to see the transition over. And I just think if we were going to allocate what would be 30-40 million pounds of our £100 million Declan Rice money to James Ward-Prowse, I think that I would find that a little bit demotivating, because I would just wonder, well, how seriously are the club behind this new transition to this new sort of director of football model, this new modern model, really. So I was disappointed over the last couple of days to read about James Ward-Prowse again. And I would also sort of chuck Palhinha in the mix on that one as well. And for the same reasons. Look, Palhinha, good player. In many respects, not dissimilar to James Ward-Prowse in as much as he's a specialist. James Ward-Prowse's specialist attribute is his set-piece taking. And what an attribute. It really is. It's a very, very good one. But I feel I would like a little bit more from a midfielder, you know, do that and be really good at passing, or really good at tackling, or whatever, you know, have a bit of pace about you, have a goal threat from open play, something. You want him to be sort of dual-faceted rather than just being good at one thing. I'd say the same with Palhinha. His tackling is exceptional. In fact, I think you could make the case that Ward-Prowse is the best in the league at set pieces, and maybe Palhinha is the best in the league at tackling, albeit his stats are only over one season, but he was statistically the best tackler in the league last season. But I think it's the age profile, for the reasons that I've given at the start of this video here. I just think it sort of lacks imagination, lacks invention. What it is going to tell us, though, see, rumours are one thing. They just might not be true. It's as simple as that, really. What it will tell us, if one of these transfers happen, it will absolutely undermine what I hope to be the case with the director of football. And that is that the director of football has been employed to have the vision, the foresight, and the project to lead the club forward. Been some great comments over the last couple of days, and I've not forgotten. I've ordered a new batch of these, and I will be intermittently chucking out, giving away and just sending those out to you for for excellent, really good, thought-provoking comments. I'll, as soon as they come in, I think I'm getting some delivered either today or Monday. I'll let you know I've got a couple of winners for the past couple of days, which I've saved, so I'll let you know those at the time. Why the bloody hell am I digressing? I can't remember what I was bloody saying now. Yes, sorry. So in the comments, there were a number of people saying, sort of Moyes is a dinosaur. Moyes can't change. He either changes or he goes. I think that's it. Moyes wears his old school, wears the old school mantra with a badge of honour. I think he thrives on it. He's proud to be the last old school manager, as it were. I don't think there's anything wrong with being proud in that. I think good for him, But times have changed, and we've got to change with them. And I can't think of too many managers who don't sign players by committee. And David Moyes is just going to have to understand that because the game has changed, he's going to have to change with it if he wants to carry on and turn 1,000 games into 1,100 games or 1,200 games as a manager. So, managers with as big a reputation as Jurgen Klopp has his transfer business done by committee. Even Guardiola doesn't handpick his players. If you remember, they actually signed pretty much the recruitment team from Barcelona when they got Guardiola. I'm going to sit here and go through every club in the Premier League, but there ain't that many left where the manager is omnipotent and he chooses everything. Most clubs now have a director of football, or the position might be named slightly differently, but that's what they've got. They've got a committee, they've got someone overseeing transfers, that sort of thing. West Ham need to move, and we can't stagnate and be the way we are just because David Moyes wants to be like Sir Alex Ferguson and do everything. So I think that's important. I think maybe it's been a bit of a stumbling block at West Ham because not only have we got Moyes that wanted to do that, David Sullivan would want to do that as well. He seemed to want to be everything, didn't he? He seemed to want to be omnipotent at the club and just have a hand in absolutely everything, be it, transfers and just absolutely everything. He's had to relinquish some power. I think that's really important. He did do that and is able to delegate. And David Moyes is going to have to do that. If he doesn't do that, he's going to leave because it will be untenable. But I do think this is going to reveal who wields the power in this situation. And almost, it'll just be so telling. There is no way when Tim Steidten gets announced, and we know he's coming over with a portfolio of players, he has a number of players that he wants to sign, there is no way that James Ward-Prowse is in that portfolio. There's no James Ward-Prowse, Palhinha, there's no sell-on to them. None at all. And I do think David Moyes will be given a player. And to see someone like Harvey Barnes, you could think he would sanction that. And when I say he, I mean Tim Steidten. If he's got to sanction and rubber stamp the transfers, he'll sanction that one, won't he? Because he'll say, you know what, Harvey Barnes, that's fine. He's a good player. He scored 13 goals last season. He's young. He's got his whole career ahead of him. That is a sensible signing to make. If it doesn't work out, you'll still be able to sell him for as much, if not more, than you bought him for. So it doesn't require much compromise to bequeath that player to David Moyes. So I think you might say, okay, Moyes, you can have that. I'm going to crack on and get the fullback sorted, the forward sorted, or the midfielder sorted, and there's your winger. Also, I think someone like Harvey Barnes is going to be of use to somebody else. So the scenario that a lot of people are trotting out at the moment, well, I say a lot of people, I've mentioned it myself in yesterday's video, is that if David Moyes didn't work out, then Xabi Alonso would probably be appointed. Well, whoever comes in, be it Xabi Alonso or anyone else, they would probably still be able to find room in the team for Harvey Barnes. He doesn't just fit David Moyes' style, does he? So I think that's going to be quite telling. Harvey Barnes won't tell us a lot, but James Ward-Prowse certainly will tell us. And if he gets that and he's spending over half the budget on James Ward-Prowse, I would concern me, because it would mean the director of football hasn't got anywhere near as much power as we need him to have. When you make this, you either make this appointment for the director of football or you don't. The moment you do, you have to back your own judgment in appointing the director of football, and you have to have faith in the process. You've got to, if you decide to go on a different path, you've got to commit to it. Or at least give it a fair chance. Don't get me wrong. If it gets four years into it and it's blatantly failing, then you change it around. But you've got to commit to it, and you've got to say, okay, if what we're doing is hiring Tim Steidten to run the footballing aspect of the club, let him run the footballing aspect of the club. It's as simple as that. One other thing I just wanted to say before I go is, in terms of the Declan Rice, the last thing I want to do is label this video as another Declan Rice one. I'm sort of sick of it. We all are, aren't we? I did find it interesting with the negotiations for David Sullivan. And it's just I'm sure the deal will get done. And David Sullivan certainly, knows a lot more about me. A lot more than me about making a transfer happen. But I just feel that there comes a point where you take the win and you think, I've got a good deal here. I totally understand it from our point of view. So the way we're negotiating is from a financial fair play point of view, which is we need the money up front so as we can adhere to financial fair play. We need to recoup some money so our turnover looks better over the next couple of years. He's pushing for 18 months. We need that to basically be able to meet the UEFA criteria. Over 4 years won't help us at all. So we're asking for understanding because of financial fair play from West Ham. But it also works both ways, and we also have to understand that maybe that's why Arsenal can't pay it over a year or 18 months. Because actually that scuppers theirs. Because they haven't had their Champions League money yet. So they've just still got the regular money that they were already having. And so this is why I think it's really important that we don't push it too hard and we do find a compromise with it, because Arsenal are going to think their own financial fair play regulations are just as important as ours. And they're going to want to make sure that they meet theirs. Now, all I would say is they have Premier League ones, which are not quite as strict as UEFA ones, but they are going back into the Champions League. So they will have to answer for what happens this season, next season, so to speak. So apparently they're close. I just hope we don't sort of push it too far on that one, really. I think... something I've thought a lot of times, not just with David Sullivan, just take the win sometimes. He's got it. He's done it. He's negotiated a really good deal. He wanted to beat Jack Grealish's deal. I know the fella that signed for Chelsea signed for 106 million, but a British record transfer, British players. He's beaten Jack Grealish, all right? He's got what he wanted. They're not going to pay it over 5 years or even 4. I think they're probably, looking to pay it over 3 years now. He's almost got absolutely everything he wanted. Just think, take the win. Don't just try and squeeze that little extra bit out. Let's get it done. And because I just want to get our own transfer window moving now. I think it's pretty important that we do so. I do think the Declan Rice sale is going to coincide with Steidten coming in. So, and I don't think we would have spent any money before Steidten came in anyway. But now's the time. Feels right.